Welcome to the interview. My guest today is an erudite jurist with an enviable track record. You meet her after the break. Welcome back. I have with me the former Chief Judge of Lagos State and the current Chairperson of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission. She's also the first Nigerian to be a member of the FIFA Ethics Committee. Welcome with us, Justice Ayotunde Phillips. Welcome, ma.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Right, so you retired 2014, and people wondered, aside from the fact that you're the chairperson of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, what else have you been up to since retirement as the Chief Judge of Lagos State?
Well, I've spent the first 6 months sleeping and eating and waking up whenever I wanted to.
Right.
The 9 to 5 thing was out of my life. So
Yeah.
I felt this sense of freedom, and then I began to get a bit bored. So I traveled quite a bit. I delivered lectures in London, in Vienna. I did all kinds of stuff. And then I started a consultancy and did some arbitrations. And I just kept myself busy. And it was fun, really, just traveling, just deciding that I want to travel.
Right.
I want to go to America. And you just buy a ticket and go to America without
and
asking for approvals from the whole of the Lagos State government before I could get an approval. So it was fun for the first 2 years.
So what made you get bored? Like the same family members, seeing the same people all the time, or you just got tired of seeing foreigners?
Well, when I'd finished watching all the series, the episodes in all the series of The Good Wife and Suits,
Right.
and all my favorite programs then
Yeah.
that I couldn't watch when I
Right.
was working, then I began to realize that I was fast running out of things to do.
Right.
And then I decided, well, it's time to get busy. That's when I started the consultancy.
Right.
And I did some arbitrations, and that kept me busy.
Fantastic. I know you come from a family of judges.
Yes.
Your sister.
Yes.
Are your kids, anybody a lawyer in your family, your
Yes,
kids?
my first two are lawyers.
So I think to myself, what's a conversation like in your home when everybody's together? You guys argue, you have issues, or do you guys have debates all the time at home?
Oh, we have debates. Like my daughter, she's a magistrate, my first child, Nike.
Oh, wow.
And she's very argumentative and always tries to prove that, well, mommy, you're old now. I mean, like, yours is old law, ours is new law. So
Right.
we have this banter, she and I,
right.
back and forth. But it's fun. We do argue a bit. My son also is a lawyer, but he's a quieter person. He just chips in a sarcastic comment here and there.
Right.
But it is fun.
But how is it for the kids? I mean, dating, because they feel a bit intimidated when they come to your house and they feel like, okay, everybody here is talking. Have you ever seen any of your spouse or your daughter's or son's spouse feel like, okay, what's going on here? Take a break. We're not in the courts.
They enjoy it, actually. They think that our house is more like the Cosby Show. You know, the
Ah.
Cosby Show of old,
Right,
you know.
right.
That's what they think. It's fun. It's fun. We have
Cool.
good fun.
All right, so I will hear stuff like lawyers are not allowed, or judges are not allowed to go to parties, not allowed to have life, they're stuck in their work as a judge. Could you tell us a bit more about that? Because maybe we just hear as rumors, we're not sure if it truly happens. Are you allowed to go to parties, or you're not allowed to go?
Yes, we are allowed to go to parties, but you have to comport yourself accordingly at a party. Like a party doesn't start at 8 and you get there at 7:30 and don't leave till it closes at midnight. You just really just put in an appearance, sit down there. You can eat, but of course you don't stick your hands in the plate and start gnawing at a cow foot or something like that. You just behave yourself.
Right.
Spend an hour, 1.5 hours. Even if it's a family matter, then you leave.
Tell us a bit more about the fun part of a judge.
Well, I like dancing.
Oh, really?
I love music.
Ah.
So I have my grandchildren teach me how to do shaku shaku and things like that. So I'm always like, my friends say I'm the laugh of a party. I really don't know, but I like socializing. but within limits.
Yeah.
Now I'm retired. I thought I would socialize more, but I'm so used to the regimented life of a judge that I find I'm not socializing as much as I should.
So you don't go to parties like you'd like to?
I do go to parties, but I just find that I'm just not motivated to go to parties.
Right.
I've done it. I've stayed away for so long that, you know. But, you know, I'm trying now. Like when I leave here today, I'm going to go to a party.
Oh, great. So what's your favorite part of the world? Where do you travel to? What do you love? Aside from the U.S., is there any exotic place you love to be?
I like Europe. I don't like England very much. I find England boring.
Okay.
But I find Europe is fun. Zurich is fun. Germany is fun. I like Dubai.
Ah, nice.
Dubai is fun too. It's, you know, it's quiet.
When was the last time you were in Dubai?
About 2-3 years ago. Usually I pass through. I've been through the airport about 2-3 times this year already. But you know, I really want to go. Where I really want to go to next, I want to go to Australia, and I want to go to Singapore, and I want to go to China.
Wow. Okay, so let's rewind a bit. How the whole journey as a lawyer started. I know you come from an important family, and obviously all your siblings and you went through the educational system, and you came through as lawyers.
Yeah.
Tell us, how was it growing up? How did you arrive to the point where you knew you had to be a lawyer?
Well, I didn't know how to be a lawyer until I'd finished my higher school certificate. I wasn't very brilliant as a student, so I was content to be a bilingual secretary. So I remember telling my mother, my late mother, that when I did my school set, that, Mommy, I'm not too sure I'm not going to do too well in school set, so could you please talk to Daddy, send me to France, that I want to be a bilingual secretary. She said I shouldn't even think about it, that your father has bigger plans for you than that. So when I did pass school set, went to do HSC, I passed that. Surprising myself as I was going along, then I was about to go into University of Lagos. So I wanted to read history, which I thought was my best subject at that time. And my father said, no, that I should try reading law, that it's important to have a profession that can sustain you for the whole of your life until you're tired of working. And he just advised I read law, and that's it. And that's how I said, okay. I just took to my father's advice. And I read law, and I think it was the best advice I could ever get.
Did you force your children to read law? Because I know growing up, my father wanted me to read law. But
really?
Did you force
I
your
didn't. They just loved what they saw me do. And decided, because their father is a scientist, actually. So he was quite disappointed. I mean, none of you read chemistry and all that kind of stuff. They said, no, want to go do what mommy does. And, you know, they haven't regretted it either. It's a beautiful profession, a very noble profession.
We hear that all the time, you know, because, I mean, I grew up with lawyers too.
Don't be jealous, don't be jealous. I mean, like,
and I wish I actually
everybody could be a lawyer. We special ones could be.
I can see that because, you know, I mean, I relate with lawyers a lot, and I admire the way they speak, the confidence.
How important we feel, we're so confident.
Now, you're a woman. You've been able to climb up in your career to where you are today. There are lots of women out there doing everything they can. Some are compromising themselves, some are doing other things. What would you advise to women out there who want to get to the top? What did you do right? What did you do? What did you do to ensure you didn't have to slip around to get to where you are? Be
focused, be disciplined, have very high morals. They'll respect you for it. I don't believe any woman needs to sleep with anybody to get. I never slept with anybody before I got to it. Well, maybe because I'm not pretty enough.
Why would you say that?
You have to be beautiful. I mean, nobody ever really. And if anybody came after me, I'm not saying that I didn't get offers along the way, but you know what I mean. Like, you just brush it aside.
Right.
3/4 of the time, the man is married anyway. So why do you want to hang about with somebody else's husband?
Right.
I mean, like, be focused. Be good at what you do. And if you don't understand something, make sure you study it until you understand it. You know, stand out, and you know, be professional at all times. Show good breeding, show good manners, show good morals, and of course, it will speak for you. That's my opinion.
But in this patriarchal society, it's always difficult. Sometimes we feel like we've already lost before we even started. You know, the competition. You were in a male-dominated profession. You were still able to rise.
I have no problem, because I believe I was good at what I did.
Right.
And you go to court, you stand up. You can't win all your cases, but at least the judge will see that this is a serious officer. Be good. Don't adopt this attitude that I'm not as good as my male counterpart. No, give him a run for his money. Let him know that yes, you too could stand up and be counted. So don't ever feel any complex to any male. There's no such thing, as far as I'm concerned, as male domination. I believe I hold my own anywhere, in any country, with anybody. So
I'd like you to speak to the fact that in our society, once a woman is divorced, she's automatically labeled as, in fact, she's not taken seriously. She's divorced because we believe that without a man, you're not complete. You've been able to prove otherwise.
Yeah.
Could you talk to a woman out there who's divorced, who feels helpless, that, you know what, I'm done, I don't have anything else, I'm just waiting for handouts from anybody else I can get. So what would you tell that person at this moment?
Well, if you're divorced, I mean, like, your life hasn't come to an end. I mean, like, some people bring their husbands from heaven, some of us don't. We just have to make do with what you have. And when I realized that my marriage was failing, I focused on my work. Channel that energy somewhere else. And the rest, you know, it will all fall into place. If you're going to get married again, nothing stops you. But if you have children, focus on your children, focus on your job. Because you're going to need that job, really, to help you to bring up your children. Especially if you have a husband who doesn't help you, who's not going to help you with the children anyway. So,
do you ever have that challenge with people? She's not married, and madam is frustrated because she's not married. She doesn't have, you know, these kind of funny people that come to you and make you look as if, oh, you're not worth their time because you're not married.
Oh, I mean, nobody has ever done that to me. I mean, like, when I enter a room, I enter a room.
Yeah, I can see.
Command the room. I take
that.
over, I command the room. I mean,
Right.
like, be confident. Be confident in yourself. I mean, like, because you're divorced doesn't mean you lose your confidence. Work. As a matter of fact, nobody has ever raised that issue with me that I'm divorced. Nobody has. I'm happy-go-lucky and I'm enjoying
Would
my
you like to tell us why you're divorced?
No, not really. I think, well, my husband traveled, went to America, and he never came back. So we just grew apart.
Wow.
And that was it. So the love just faded and it's gone.
And you never remarried?
No, no.
So you're just happy?
I told you I'm looking for
Your
uncle.
Oh, no.
I'm not a rich uncle. No, I'm too old for all that now.
Right,
I think now I'm just going to enjoy my life, enjoy my children.
How many grandchildren do you have?
I have 6 grandchildren, all sons.
What? You don't have a daughter?
No granddaughter. I'm begging them to please give me a granddaughter.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
6
We know you handed over to your sister. How did that come about?
It was the hand of God. Like, when she was appointed, there were about 6 judges between herself and myself. And all of them either retired or some died. And the last one was elevated to the Court of Appeal and is now in the Supreme Court. So she now came directly behind me.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was how it was happening. It wasn't planned. If it was planned,
everybody thought it was planned.
No.
Those 2 sisters.
That I just handed over. No. It doesn't work like that. Right. In Lagos State, it's by seniority.
Wow.
So by seniority, she was right behind me. So it was her turn.
Did you ever have to help her out in the case something happened? She had to call you, says, "How do I handle this situation?" Did you ever?
She asked for advice all the time. Yes. And I'm going to start charging her for advice now. Now that you reminded me, it's time to start to pay.
Yeah. You know, we're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll now talk about your current job as the chairman of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. So how has it been being the chairman of the Lagos Independent Electoral Commission so far? What has been your experience been so far? And tell us, and how have you been able to develop the Electoral Commission within the state?
Well, how I got the appointment, I just got a call from the governor, the immediate past governor, Mr. Ambody, telling me that he's going to submit my name to the House of Assembly for confirmation. And I was a bit worried at first because I've never worked with politicians. In fact, I spent my whole career avoiding politicians. So I was a bit, he said, no, that, you know, it's an experience, it's called to service and blah, blah, blah. So I said, all right, let's give it a bash. So I went to the House of Assembly and I was confirmed. And I came and I found that I was working with politicians this time, which I found it's a bit of a culture shock. But then I discovered that with time that I quite enjoyed working with them because they're prepared to give me a chance. And I found that preparing for elections is one of the most difficult tasks I've ever encountered. That there's so much to do in terms of logistics, which I knew nothing about. So the International Federation of Electoral Systems, which is an affiliate of the United Nations, they are involved in all our states' independent electoral commissions. And they came to our aid, and we had several workshops and seminars. And they put us through step by step.
Let's talk about the process, as you said earlier, the process of elections in Lagos State. When we tried to do the presidential elections, and I had an opportunity to go around, and I saw that we're still using very, very crude methods. Carrying sensitive materials from here with the bus, having places where they went clear demarcations of where to vote. A lot of things are still done.
Yeah.
The administration of elections are still done really crudely. In your own experience, what can you do to help modernize this entire process?
Well, I'm hoping that for the next elections, we can have electronic voting. That would make it so much easier. You just have something like an iPad, and then you just press it. You just go there, just press the umbrella, or press the broom, or press the cow, or press, the goats. Just, that would make it so much easier. And then immediately it records in the control room. That would be perfect. It would make it so much easier.
That takes legal backing.
Yeah, it does take legal backing. We'll have to amend our law.
Right.
And we have to do so, but it's expensive.
Right.
Like, after war, elections are the next most expensive exercise of government. It's very, very expensive. But it's well worth it at the end of the day. And if India can do it, we can do it too.
Did you get any pressure from politicians? Everybody wants certain votes to go certain ways. Have you ever been under pressure to ensure you look the other way while things are being done?
That's what I was expecting. I thought that my phone would be ringing off the hook. And they just left me alone. In fact, I had to comment that, what happened? Sometimes we have the wrong impression about politicians. Nobody gave me any stress. And, it's like they had trust in us here, and they had trust in the system. Nobody gave me any stress at all. So I'm happy.
You never got into politics at some point, because obviously you work with politicians.
No, yes.
Are you thinking
I'm a
of
bit
going?
old now. I would have loved to be a senator. I would have loved to. But I think I'm too old for all that.
You're just 70. You're going to be 70.
Oh, no. I'm too old. I can't be climbing stairs and doing all that kind of... Let me just sit down and comment.
How did you end up being a member of the FIFA Ethics Committee? How did that happen? You just got a call?
I just got a phone call.
Goodness, somebody must be calling me. You just got a phone call.
Just got a phone call. I was in the US. I think I was asleep. And then my son said, Mommy, you're going to get a phone call very soon. And I got the phone call and said, well, this is what they have planned. I said, well, go ahead. I should send my CV. I sent my CV. The next thing, I heard the announcement.
Wow.
So I'm a very lucky bunny.
Obviously. And you seem to be happy.
Yeah,
you seem to be pretty happy and having a lot of fun. So, and as a member of the Ethics Committee, what's your job like? What are you supposed to do? What's expected of you?
All right. The Ethics Committee of FIFA is divided into two. We have the investigatory chamber and the adjudicatory chamber. I'm a member of the adjudicatory chamber, and we sit down and adjudicate over cases forwarded to us by the investigatory chamber. They investigate the allegations. Then when they think that there's a case to be considered, they send it to us. So we now dish out the punishment. That's what we do.
Great. But let's come to lawyers in Nigeria today. I mean, looking at the kind of lawyers we churn out today, in a term, you can almost have like 5,000 graduates across. I'm wondering, where are these guys going to get jobs? And it's like, they don't have substance. They're there, they become lawyers, they're not sure, and you hear them in the courts and you're thinking, are you a lawyer? What does that make you feel? And how do you think we can fix that problem?
It's very sad. I will be lying if I say I've not noticed the decline in the quality of the legal practitioners that we're producing from our various law schools. I think something has to be done by the Council of Legal Education about it urgently. The level has reached its virtually rock bottom. I mean, the language, the tool of a good lawyer is the English language.
Right.
If you cannot express yourself adequately in the English language, because that's the language of the court, then you have no business in the profession. Like I said before, not everybody could be a lawyer. In the old England, I mean, like, it was the sons and daughters, really the sons really of the well-to-do that read law, because it's always been a profession that belonged to the middle class, upper middle class.
Right.
But having said that, I mean, like, anybody could be anything. Once you set your mind to it. But you have to bring yourself up to really fit in.
Right.
And now, everybody who is anybody, even people that don't even have interest, you've got to want to have that innate sense of justice.
I've always been curious about this wig lawyers wear. Why must you wear that wig? I mean, can't you even make it black hair or something? Because I'm like, I wonder why you're wearing a blonde hair. You're black. Why are you wearing blonde hair?
Well, we inherited it from the English.
Why can't
from
we
the
adjust
common law
it?
system. Again, the Council of Legal Education has to look into it. Americans and some parts of Europe, they don't wear the wig.
Right.
And to be honest, it is very uncomfortable.
Oh, I could tell.
Especially the full bottom wig. I mean, like, we actually melt. We melt when we wear those things. But again, we inherited it. And I've been told that we should not drop the wig and the gown, because that is what the common man respects in court. Once you take that away, you're taking the awe from the court.
Right.
And we will not get that respect and fear that we instill in the common man. And we're there, that's the last place for the common man to run to. So if it pleases them,
fine,
we'll continue to suffer.
Let's talk about the justice system in Nigeria generally. Recently, a man actually was in jail for 27 years. I think it was in the Rivers or Bayelsa, I'm not sure what state it was. And he came on a show to say that he was there for 27 years, and it was practically abandoned. They tried to appeal the case. Eventually, they realized that it was there for no just cause. He spent 27 years. Now, somebody will say that's miscarriage of justice. That's unfair on him. People have complained about our justice system. In your own view, as a former Chief Judge of Lagos State, what can we do to clean up the system, especially from the part of law enforcement, up until the point it comes to the judge?
Well, you see, we have all these laws in our statute books. What I've observed is that the enforcement is what is severely lacking. There's no point having these laws that don't take one way, and you take one way, and then you don't do anything about it. And that's where we differ from Europe. You dare not drive on the wrong side of the road in Europe. In London, or Vienna, or Germany, you dare not do it, because you know that the law, the full force of the law will be descended on you, and you won't escape. But here, you do what you like and get away with it. I think we need to concentrate more on the enforcement of these laws. Otherwise, we'll just be like the toothless bulldog. That, the bulldog is there barking, but, he has no bite. That's the bite. The enforcement is the bite. So they've got to do something about the enforcement and empower the police. The police are not strong enough, to my mind.
Right.
They're not strong enough at all. They should be strong.
There have been cases of various judges getting bribed for one thing or the other, saying that, that judge was bribed. You say that people believe in the sanctity of the courts, and they trust that the judges would do the right thing. Have you heard of these being happen, and have you known of any of these bribery going on amongst your colleagues in the system?
Not in my tenure. Okay. I mean, like, they always allege that we've been bribed. People are sore losers. Once you lose a case, I've lost because the judge was given bribe. But who has actually caught a judge with his or her hand in the cookie jar? You have to actually catch a judge doing that. And stop throwing these allegations of these unfounded allegations of bias around. It's an occupational hazard. It's very unfortunate because it makes the judge feel very bad when you've done your best, only to be told that it's because you've been compromised. And then most judges now are paid quite well, at least in Lagos State.
Right.
We have no judge has any cause to take anything from anybody. Right. No reason whatsoever.
We have to round up. I think you're just a wealth of knowledge and energy. People should learn from you. How do we access you? How do we find you? Are you online? Do you have a blog? Do you have something people can learn from you? Do you have books? What do you have there to share knowledge to young people?
Well, I've been told to write a book. I really haven't got down to it, yes.
I think you should.
Everybody says that, but I'm trying to gather my thoughts together. Maybe now that I'm going to be a septuagenarian, and I'll have more time to sit down and think about it. I'm easy to get. You can get me here in Lasiek.
Right.
You can visit me here. You can send me an email. You can do anything. I mean, like, I'm all over the place. I'm involved in church too.
Right. What church do you go to?
I'm an Anglican.
Anglican.
I go to Bola Memorial Anglican Church.
Nice.
And I'm the Deputy Chancellor of our diocese. And
wow.
I'm the Chairman of the Mediation Commission.
So wow. So you're involved.
I have so many things. I've got my fingers in too many pies, actually.
Oh, fantastic. Such a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show today, actually.
Thank you.
We've been chatting with the chairman of LASEC, that's the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, and the former Chief Judge of Lagos State. Such a pleasure having you on the show, madam.
Thank you very much.
That's all we can take. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.